Talks with Dorks. May the power protect you.
Let's rock it!
Well, all I can say is we've had a week off, and even after a week off, we cannot manage to put an episode together because this is attempt 4 or 5 tonight to record something, and we did have a special guest, but unfortunately the guest was having issues with phones, tablets, laptops, internet, life.
Everything technology related.
And everything just seems to be going wrong, so we just said to the guest, we'll reschedule this because the episode we have got planned with this guest, and we're not going to name him, we're not going to say anything, is going to be a big one. And I want it to be perfect.
Yeah, we're not gonna do this by halves. If we're doing it, we are doing it right. So, welcome to what is possibly going to be a very chaotic episode of Talks with Dorks.
I don't know because to be honest, there is some bits I've been wanting to talk about on a normal episode of the podcast that I'm like, you know what? Okay, let's go. Yeah. So, but what we'll say when I say guest, probably clear it up that when we say it's going to be a big guest, when straight up it's going to be a episode that could be talked about, and not because it's a guest that's a big celebrity name. It's someone I know personally, and there's a lot to it. There is a lot that could bring a lot of talking points, some controversy, but
it's
an interesting
episode. Yes, this is going to be one of our most interesting discussions that we've ever had. And like I say, we do not want to do this by halves if we're doing it. So, yeah, it does mean that you might have to wait another week for it. But trust me when I say it will be worth that wait. But speaking of waiting, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since we had a chance to have a chat with you. I mean, how are you doing, first and foremost?
Me? Fucking stressed, mate. And I probably shouldn't be swearing this early in the episode. There goes the monetisation again. But... life is
1 minute
life
45. We had good innings.
Life is life in. I don't want to say too much on the podcast just yet because there's so big. But I've made conscious decisions in my life that come January, you know what? Let's put it this way. Come January, my job role will not be a full-time DJ. I don't think I can be doing 4 nights a week DJing. I love DJing, but at the moment I consider it a job, and I need to. It's taken a bit of realization, and I've got a beautiful family out there that are missing 4 nights of me every week. And when your stepson, who's also my boss when it comes to TDW, tells you or asks you why you are not here 4 nights a week, and he misses you, kind of hits you in the heart a little bit.
I always maintain that not everyone has the privilege of being able to say they're doing a dream job, but I always think like when you get to a point that you're doing a job that is coming at the expense of the family life, the job itself needs to give you that joy and that passion at the very least. And the second it's not giving you that anymore, something's got to give. I mean,
no one can even deny it. You can't even look at it like the DJing. The whole world is changing, and nightlife industry, like it did in lockdown, is suffering massively. Like because people don't go out like they used to, and at 18, I was out every night of the week. Now, I'm doing 4 nights a week, and I feel like I'm spending a lot of time standing around. And what I don't like is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I get a lot of time at work to edit and do stuff for our podcast, but I feel guilty. I feel like I should, yes, people actually say to me, you're getting to stand around and you're earning good money, you're a DJ. I'm like, but that's not why I do DJing. I do DJing because I like DJing, and I like doing it. I love how as we know, I'm a crowd pleaser and I want to be in front of people. So I'm looking at what to do. So if you've got any options, if you look at this and go, hey, he could come work with me, or he could be something interesting. I'm quite expensive, but I'll listen to your offer.
Or, start subscribing to our Patreon so this man can do this full time.
That's a great idea. Or you could, do you know what? Because we one of the times we tried recording an episode tonight, we did mention that you have been spending, one of the reasons we didn't record last week, and you've been behind the scenes editing back in time, which potentially, I don't know, because I don't know when you're planning on doing your commentary side of things, because that's pretty much all you've got left.
Yeah, I am hoping to get the commentary done, if I can help it, tomorrow. At the time that we record this, it's just over 2 weeks since we did Back in Time, our second ever wrestling show. And since then, we finished the show, we all went home, I went to bed, and then for the rest of every single waking moment over the course of the last 2 weeks, I eat, I sleep, and I edit. That is my life.
So, yeah, and I have I'm not gonna lie, you're lucky because today I was live streaming and I was gonna show at least the first match, up to the first match of Back in Time, but for some reason TikTok live streaming on my laptop and trying to play a video on VLC Media Player doesn't seem to like each other. It was stuttering more than me when I've had a can of Red Bull. And if you've never experienced that, Kurt, which I'm sure you probably have, because I try and say 10 sentences at once. But
Mate,
yeah,
I've been on a live radio show with you before. That's the least of your worries.
it's a wonder why I'm not in the radio world anymore. They won't have me. But
Have we told the story about one of the last radio shows that I sat in with you on? Have we told that story on this pod?
I don't remember that story. What did I do?
Because I wasn't there for your last show that you did live, where you finally packed in. I was there for like your second or third from last show, and we were hyping up the wrestling show, and because we made it no secret to the listeners at the radio station we worked at that, you know, we both do this podcast, we're both on this wrestling show, and we were talking about, you know, wrestling memories and stuff like that, and especially you having been on the independents doing the wrestling things, and you were talking about a spot that you'd been involved in where there was a chair shot involved, and you got so passionate talking about it. And so we're on live radio, and this man has worked in radio for a number of years at this point without a single slip up. And on one of his last ever shows, gets so passionate talking about wrestling. He goes, and I'll tell you what, mate, this man, he picks up this fucking, and then just pauses, and you can see the colour drain from his face. As he realises what he's done. And I'm just sitting here, and I've been doing radio at this point for like 15 years. I'm sitting there just leaning back in my chair, just going, it finally happened.
No, mate, you say it finally happened. That's the fight you finally seeing it. I've done things before where I left the mic up once, and I had some like proper behind the scenes conversations and talk of fucking this. Mate, this episode is definitely not going to get monetized.
5 minutes in, we're good.
Yeah,
5 minutes in. But I'll tell you what, I've always maintained, you're not a true radio DJ until you've done a number of things. I always maintain you're not a true DJ until you have accidentally left your microphone live for an entire song and then had an existential crisis about whether you said anything whilst the mic was live that you didn't want to go out.
You definitely do.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. You're not a true radio DJ until you have done the exact opposite, which is a song ends, you start talking and realise about 30 seconds in that you never brought your microphone back up.
I don't know if I've ever...
I've had that.
I don't know if I've ever done that, because the ADHD in me is that I'm ready to put that fader up. That's why I used to leave it, because I used to be so happy to have it up. Like,
do you know, we're past the 5 minute mark of this point, so I can say this now, with no fear of demonetization. One thing I always said about you, mate, you were very guilty of a common radio tick, which is you, my friend, are one of the most guilty people I've ever met of wanking off the fader. And I don't mind saying it. Dear viewer and listener, let me explain.
The first thing we need to clear up that fader is not a person. Someone that works at a station.
So the fader is basically the little slider that you put up and down to bring your microphone live and make your microphone louder, quieter, louder, quieter. Ryan is one of those guys who basically, at every possible second, that fader is just going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Every single breath that you take, that fader's going back up, back down, back up, back down, back up, back down. Like you will never leave it on one level. You'll just constantly just...
ADHD, that is the ADHD. That is tics. I do it with DJing because my boss always has a go at me because there's a thing on a control on DJ mix called a flanger, which makes it's like a whoosh noise. But for as long as I can remember, that is my tick. I use that because I like to press buttons while I'm DJing, which I don't need to be doing. I could just be standing there and enjoying the song because it's just playing a song, but I'm doing that because I need to be doing something. And yeah, I'm always pressing buttons. But
I miss our old radio days. Not nice as it is doing the podcast.
Yeah, I
don't think anyone would trust us in front of a live mic anymore. Like, there's a reason this is recorded.
Yeah.
Ryan's currently going, I'm umming and ahhing about whether he wants to censor the fader comment, but...
Yeah, but just because I had to make sure I cleared up that was not a person, because fader. Do you know what I mean? Like wanking off the fader. Who is the fader? No, that wasn't what I was doing.
So he kept his job for so long.
Yeah. Can I be on the radio, please?
I reckon I did it for 15 years.
I hate when episodes are unplanned because they always go weird. I need to bring something up because I said, I'm actually quite, as much as I'm looking forward to doing the episode we were planning, we haven't had a little nerd out, and I need to talk about at least a trailer that I've seen in the last week.
Ooh, okay.
And if you haven't seen this trailer, Kurt, just go. I'm going to talk to the camera and I'll talk about it. If you have not seen this trailer, I'm going to be very upset.
I may have.
Is that a hee or a ha?
Go on, I'll let you take the lead, mate. I know what you're talking about.
I've known about this film. For a long time. I've known that it's going to be played by his nephew, who I remember seeing before they made the announcement, him singing a Michael song and thinking he sounds like Michael Jackson. Then I've been keeping up to date with any set photos where you've seen him, or like the pictures they'd post. They posted a picture of him in a dance studio doing the up on the toes pose that Michael did. Like Billie Jean, looked like Billie Jean, reminded me of Billie Jean straight up.
I think most of the shots that I've seen so far from that era.
Yeah. Then this, there has been problems with the film. There was, from what I understand, and I don't know if we've ever spoke about this, that the film was delayed because the end and the third act of the film was predominantly about what happened in 1993 with Michael when he first had things go wrong, without saying what it is. And then there was a kind of that can't happen because there was something signed, a lawsuit that there could never be a documentary, a film or anything to dramatise that situation by the family of people involved. So they've had to go remake, so the film was delayed. But last week they dropped the teaser trailer, just a teaser trailer, 1 minute 13 seconds, and I have seen it at least 40 times. And I have, a reservation that I think the scene where you actually hear him just speak, where he's in the studio with the headphones on, that is the one moment, that is the one time I think he doesn't look as much like Michael as he does in other shots you see of him. But also I remember that at that stage, Michael was going through a lot of his life and didn't look as much like Michael in that era of his life, because that would have been when skin conditions would have happened. But anyway, oh my God, they dropped the teaser trailer of the Michael Jackson film, which is, I think, by the looks of it, it's called Michael. And
yeah,
mate,
I mean, he looks the part. I mean, the fact that you said his nephew suddenly makes a lot of sense, because
oh, you didn't know
when
that?
No, I didn't know that. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, blimey, he really looks the part. And then it suddenly makes a hell of a lot of sense. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be awesome. I can take or leave a biopic, but I'm almost definitely going to go check this one out. Looking forward to being able to do a proper review of it after the fact.
It's the shots, right? Like the music, like it's basically wannabe starting something in the background where you keep hearing the same Amazama Makusa, same Amazama Makusa, but you
I love
hear.
Rihanna. I knew that would get you.
Mate, there are certain rules when you are on this podcast, and you do not dishonour Michael Jackson. All right.
But I know I'm safe. I'm about the only way you get some Doctor Who talk on this show.
I've got RJ now. All right. We might throw it down in the ring, but I can gladly talk to Doctor Who with that man. So don't forget, everyone's replaceable, son. Especially when it comes to dissing the honour and the memory of Michael Jackson. Back to the trailer. Michael, like the like you hear beat. Like all the you can I can't, I look at it and I try and unravel those of shots. The stadium shot, there's the shot of him, the Thriller, when you see the music video for Thriller, like, because again as well, it's all 4K. It's Michael in 4K, filmed in 4K, filmed in that quality, so it looks so crisp, and the fact that he looks so much like him, the film looks beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain moments in his career that I would love to see in this film. I mean, I'm trying to remember, like you say, if it was originally due to end in like 1993, I'm trying to remember if this was after this or not. But I would love to see a recreation and like a behind the scenes biopic style of the of his Super Bowl halftime show. I feel like that was after, but
I don't know, but because you've seen the clip where you the documentary where they go, do it, Michael,
yeah, where he deliberately hung on for like 40 full seconds, and he told the director the cue to start will be I'm going to reach up and I'm going to take my sunglasses off, and he hung there for so long, and like I say, you can hear in the earpiece everyone going, do it, Michael,
come on, Michael,
do it,
come on, Michael.
And the director's sitting there going like, I'm not losing my job over this. I'm waiting for the cue. And the stage presence and the aura, like nobody could have got away with that. And the performance having been better for it in the same way that Michael could.
And that's why, obviously there's going to be, again, if they had to change the end of the film, I'm assuming they're going to potentially go down the route of the later allegations that came along, etc. That you can't do this film. And there is a rumour that it's going to be a two-parter. And I think maybe that decision's been made because they've had to change the end. And
yeah, I mean, I would like to see them, not because of any demonising or anything like that, I would like to see them actually go into the latter stages of his life, because there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, one of my main critiques of the Queen biopic was the fact that they acknowledge Freddie Mercury's diagnosis, but then don't really go into any of like those latter stages of his life and like the final recording or anything like that. It kind of ends with Live Aid, really.
yeah.
And then they acknowledge him telling the band about his diagnosis, but then nothing more than that. And like, there's so many good Freddie stories from that later stage of his life. So I don't know how much of a Queen fan you are, but I mean, I guessed, but
So obviously you wouldn't know this. Was it at Gateway? No, it was on when I did the online radio station before I joined Gateway, which was during lockdown and where I got into able to do online radio. I used to do a segment called Two Kings and a Queen, which was always me playing an Elvis song, King of Rock and Roll, a Michael song, and a Queen song.
love that.
I love Queen. So yeah, I mate. And to be fair, some of my favourite Freddie Mercury stuff is his solo stuff. His version of The Great Pretender is my
amazing
favourite version. Living on My Own, one of my favourite songs of all time.
Also, the last song that Freddie recorded for Queen, and you probably know this story, Ryan, but for the sake of you watching or listening, if you don't know this one of the last songs that Freddie recorded, and for the life of me I can't remember which one it was, but one of the last songs Freddie recorded, like, he was clearly suffering, like there was nothing
Barcelona
on him. He was,
isn't it?
no, it wasn't Barcelona. It was either Show Must Go On or Who Wants to Live Forever. I can't remember which, but whichever one of those came out later, it was
one
that.
where he's got no moustache and he's very frail.
Very frail, but it's not Barcelona.
Sure.
It's definitely not Barcelona, I know that. Because it was for Queen. It wasn't Freddie on his own, it was for Queen. But
carry on telling the story, I'm going to find out.
Yeah. But yeah, basically there's nothing on him. He's stick thin, gaunt, no moustache or anything like that. Actually, he might have still had the moustache at that point, but he was clearly the nicest way of putting it, on his way out. And Brian May, in the recording studio, seeing Freddie propping himself up against a wall, turns around to him and says, Fred, that they had one more they had one more song to record, and they said, Fred, you don't need to do it, mate. We've got enough in the can. We don't need to do this song. And even then, you can record a bit, and we can fudge the rest. We can make it work. We can do some studio wizardry. We can do more instrumentals. We can this song all together. We've got enough. You don't need to. And Freddie basically just took one swig of vodka or whiskey, whatever it was he was drinking, just one swig of his drink, and in proper Freddie fashion just went, fuck it, I'll do it, darling. And then killed it in one take. And
didn't he pass? And not literally...
matter of weeks after, I think it was, yeah.
If I'm right in remembering, the announcement came out and he die a day later.
Something like that. Yeah, it was
It
close.
was very close. I know that bit without going into it. But the last video I put up, it said, "These are the days of our lives."
Again, it was bugging me that I couldn't remember the name of the song, but like, that story, especially, and the movie doesn't acknowledge that. Like you don't get that story in the movie, and like, that tells you so much about Freddie's character than like half of the other stuff they covered in that film.
I'm literally looking.
So fact checking
video.
me.
Not fact checking. It was 1991, but it doesn't give you the details of it.
Yeah, but I just want to say that I kind of want the Michael biopic to lean into some of the latter stage of his life. Like again, not out of any shaming of the man's memory, but just because like there's a story to be told with it.
And the thing is, again, like because I am very passionate. I had it the other week in my Friday night. I had arguments. I told someone to fuck off because I kept calling him one of them.
Yeah.
One of them words I try and avoid bringing into this podcast, but it just seems to prop up all the time. Been accused one of them, and I just said, look, mate, go do your facts. Like, it's not hard to see that. Again, I've said it since day dot. If they inevitably found the proof and they came out and said 100% that man was guilty of what he was accused of, I'd be done. It would break my heart in the truest of form, but I knew I'd been living a lie the whole time. And it is very easy. I understand people that may think that because that's what the media fed. But if you read into it, you look at the details and you go through his life and see what he was trying to say all along, that people were out to get him. People didn't want him to have the power he had. They didn't like that. And all of this, and you can look at the facts. Again, my biggest point is, and I've always said this, that man is arguably, and there isn't an argue about it, the biggest name in entertainment ever. If he isn't number one, he's number two, and there's no, that is barely an argument. For all of his life as well, like from the age of 5 till 49. So that's out of a 49-year life, that's 45 years, 46 years. It was 49 take away 5. 44 years of his life was bred to be the biggest name in entertainment. And my way of looking at it is that if he really truly did them things, there would be a lot more people making these allegations, and
there'd be a lot less radio stations playing his music, let's put it that way.
Yeah, Gateway stopped playing it when I left. We've had enough.
Fulfilled the quota for the next 10 years just from Ryan alone.
Yes, I think they do, but I think it'd be nice, as long as it's truthful, for them to show it, but like really, like, show the truth. Just be truthful, and I like to think that if they're going to show the truth, it's going to end in a very positive light, and people will go maybe, and they could see a little bit, or come away thinking maybe he wasn't. Not be convinced, but maybe he wasn't. But if the truth comes in it and it ends up being the opposite of that, okay, it's a different story. But I just want it to be a true honour to the man that I've lived and loved. Mate, I went at 5 years old. I went on holiday to Ibiza, and I met a friend there whose mum literally came up to my mum and said, "Sorry, just now you were calling your son." "Yeah." "And you were calling him Ryan?" Yeah, like, "He told us his name was Michael Jackson." She was like, my first ever karaoke as a child was bad. There's a picture of me somewhere like that. I used to have a little leather strap on with little metal studs on it like he did. I've been obsessed with that man as much as more all of my life. My first ever obsession was Michael Jackson. And I just want to see what this film looks like. I want to see all the glory. Yes. And if there is a part 2 and it's to deal with the other side, as long as I see everything, like I say, in 4K, the quality of a guy that looks, sounds, and it is Michael's blood playing that part, because there's them shots like where it ends and you see him side screaming and it's the smoke. Like, I think, trying to think of what that would be. To me, it reminds me of Come Together for some reason. which is in Moonwalker, but it's not. I know it's not. And he's screaming, and it's, you know, it's 90s Michael, so it is. I'm probably saying this white Michael, and I maybe saying this, and it's that to me because that's for me that's 8-9 years old me. Remembers them shots, them filming, seeing it in that quality and them colours, and seeing a Michael performance like that. The Michael, performance of Michael that I'm going to see in a cinema. Because I don't, other than This Is It, I've never seen Michael. Maybe Men in Black 2. I might have seen him when he pops up on the camera.
I can be Agent M.
But I'm going to see this beautiful, like this. I can't wait, mate. Honestly, this film, I told you we had stuff to talk about. This film, I'm going to come off of here and just rewatch the trailer again.
Yeah. I mean, it does look to be amazing. And like I said, I've always been a Michael fan as well. But, like, you know, I think as much as, like, the next guy would be, you know, because you can't avoid his music. And like, everything I've ever heard of him, I've loved. But I think, like, to become as much of a fan as need be, and, like, a good biopic can do that, man. I mean, the Elvis movie turned me into an Elvis fan. Like, I again always liked the Elvis music that I liked. I respected the artist. My dad, proper Elvis fan, and I made a point of saying, like, do you know what? I think it was either Father's Day or his birthday. My dad's like 1 week away from Father's Day, so it was either or. But from Father's Day or his birthday, I took him to see the Elvis movie because it just happened to come out around about the same time. And I know some people will say, oh, you know, it's not the greatest biopic in the world. Do one. You're banned from this podcast. I will be willing to disagree with you on that. But please don't leave. But
yeah, stick around.
But yeah, that movie. I became an Elvis fan through that movie, and within that year, I then went to see 3 different Elvis tribute acts. I've been to the Elvis. Museum, I guess it was, that was in London, where they had loads of things from his life and his career, all in this little pop-up exhibition in London for a bit. Yeah, I became an Elvis fan through that, like, and I feel like a good enough Michael movie could do the same to me. Like, not that I've never not been a Michael fan, but like I say, I'm as much a fan as the next guy my age.
Do you know what I'm hoping for? Is because usually there's a bit of there's the resurgence for their music when these films come out, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but supposedly I believe Man in the Mirror is the big song for this movie, and I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that.
It's not actually one of my least favourite Michael songs. I'm sorry.
That's twice.
I like some. My favourite Michael songs are some of the ones that don't get as many, like, chart radio plays. Like, I'm a big fan of Dirty Diana, You Rock My World, Love You Rock My World, just because Chris Tucker's in it. Like, you know, that man's living the dream. In that music video.
It's dangerous. I've still got on my DJ sound, because from the earliest times when I ever started putting music together on a laptop, before I was even considering a DJ, I've had the sound clip from Rush Hour 2 where he does is it Want to Be Starting Something? Get closer, oh, get closer. Come on, Lee. Come on. Come on, Lee. These people love me. I've got that sound clip.
As long as it's not Lee saying "What's up" at the bar, we're all right.
So
put that on the list of things that might be repeated on the podcast.
Yeah, he literally. I've had that sound because me and my mates used to laugh. That was one of our favourite scenes. You'd always quote when you're ringing each other, "Chabon, Chabon," doing that. But Chris Tucker's part of that. Anyway, carry on. Rock My World, yeah.
Rock My World. Dirty Diana, I love as well. I was a big fan of They Don't Really Care About Us.
Oh yeah,
love that one.
You can tell you're a 90s.
I'm
kid.
later, Michael.
Yeah. Sorry. Rephrase it. You're born in the 90s
baby. I'm a 90s baby. I'm not. You know, I can't have the 90s kid card. I was 5 by the end of the 90s, I guess, but like, I'm a 90s baby more than anything.
How much do you remember the millennium turning?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, just about. Is it like, how old was you then?
I remember it. I would have been 6.
6, yeah. Okay. You made a 9.
I was born in 1994.
Right, so where was we at before I started reminding you you're not a 90s kid? So
the Michael again, the majority Michael songs that I like is like later Michael.
Yeah,
and again, I love Beat It, I love Bad and stuff like that. But like my favorite Michael songs, I think, it is later Michael, because that's the stuff that I kind of got introduced to like as it was happening, almost, or within a few years of it.
I've still got, and it pains me because I know what I done to it. I've got an LP, a proper vinyl. The Way You Make Me Feel. Is the cover is him and the girl in the alleyway, but I know it's got drawing all over it because I was a kid. Imagine, right? I've got an LP, a proper vinyl record of Michael Jackson. It's got. I had that on there. Mate, Moonwalker used to be on repeat in my house. I can. Moonwalker. So some of my favorite, like, again, I love all the big ones, but Human Nature. One of the greatest songs ever, Liberian Girl. Do you know that one? I
do.
Yeah. Remember the Time. That's got Eddie Murphy in the music video. That's the Egyptian one. But everything. That's what I mean. I think was so exciting about this is that you saw that they're recreating music videos in there. They're recreating concerts. Michael was like, this is what I mean. His music videos were some of the best. They were fucking movies.
They were events.
They were literally movies. Like Thriller, there's about 6 minutes of the song and about 30 minutes of a horror movie that petrified me. I remember the first time I watched it as a kid, because it was Michael Jackson. Yeah. I must have been 4 or 5, and I don't know. Don't know if you know this, but it could lead into another subject actually. As a child, I didn't do horror films. I did not go until the age of 12, and it goes back to my usual reference to Ash and us having a sleepover when we first refriended each other in Dagenham, that I watched Scream, and Scream made me go, I've been scared all my life of all these ones that don't happen, Freddy and all that, and that one's realistic and cool. That I like that. That was pretty cool. And ironically, do you know what other film we watched that night in that sleepover, 1998? Give you a clue. It's nothing to do with my wrestling name, but it is my wrestling name.
Relic.
The Relic. We hired 2 films from Blockbusters that night, Scream and The Relic, and that was 4 years before I became The Relic in wrestling. So yeah, I always remember that. That's mad, isn't it? That film that I've watched that night and never watched again. That was the film we chose, but it's always stood out from that sleepover. But anyway, horror films used to scare me, and I remember watching Thriller 4 years old. I remember watching that opening scene where he becomes that werewolf and crying hard, because my Michael had just become the scariest.
I mean, he had to put a disclaimer at the start of that music video
because he was Christian, wasn't it? It's all because of, again, that could be delved into in the movie.
Yeah, like famously, the video starts with like, him basically saying like, the contents of this video in no way promote a belief in the occult.
I'm gonna, because I could carry on talking Michael in this film. I can think you safely say we are both excited. I'm sure. I know Woody will be. I know. I think Tony will be. Laferde probably hasn't seen it, and he's probably watched it but hasn't seen it. But while we're on, just because there was something else I wanted to bring up, and I guarantee you haven't seen it, but we'll just tell you that something you recommend you should watch. We're talking about thriller and horror things and things that used to scare me. One of the things that used to scare me to death as a child, like Freddy Krueger, I couldn't look at pictures of Freddy in a magazine. I used to avoid the back room of my favourite comic shop in Basildon, the cartoon shop, when it used to be opposite Toys R Us. I used to avoid their back room where most of the expensive comics were in the posters, because I knew there was a poster of Freddy Krueger in there, because I walked in there once and shit myself and then went back in. So I stayed out the front.
You see, Nightmare on Elm Street was my jam. Like, I don't really do many horror movies either, but I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Weirdly, funny enough, I actually remember as a kid, before I moved to Dag, before the Scream thing, I watched New Nightmare, and it would have been probably just before, which is the one where it's real. It's him coming into the real world, and it's actually one where he's played relatively straight as well. Like, it's one of the more serious nightmares. is, yeah, it's horrible. And even in the end, it says Freddy Krueger as himself, because he's playing that it was a whole thing, and he looks the scariest. He doesn't. It's the one. He does not look like Robert Englund. You can see Robert Englund under that mask any other time, but that one he does not, and he's petrified. I remember watching that, but I remember because it was during the daytime. I dealt with it around my friend's house, but it would have been about a year before the Scream incident, where I fell in love with horror. But Freddy, but the other one was Pennywise. That clown petrified the life out of me. And so, do you know what? Guess where I'm going?
Pennywise, I can only imagine. I mean, are we talking original Stephen King, It with Tim Curry, or are we talking more recent Bill Skarsgård?
We're talking the most recent, because I'm talking about It, Welcome to Derry, the TV show that is on its third episode. I haven't watched it. I've watched the first two.
I am so behind. I've not checked out a single one yet.
So it's only 2 episodes. Well, 3 episodes now. The third episode came out last night. Mate, have you seen the films though? Yeah, they've got Skarsgård films.
Oh, amazing! Love them both. First one is better, if you ask me, but I love
second
both.
one, I don't even remember if I fully finished it. If I have, I no, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, but he's brilliant as Pennywise. He's unreal. And the series, if I'm right, as far as I know, no spoilers, I don't even know if I've seen him, but there's so much happened that he's fucked up.
This will be one of those ones where you can watch back like after the fact, and there'll be loads of Easter eggs where like you missed, and like loads of moments where like, because you were able to do this with the other 2 films, like all the times where Pennywise was in the scene but you never noticed him. I guarantee you'll be able to do this with the series as well.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it is so good. And like the first episode, at the end of it, at the time I was lucky because I had I could watch 2 episodes. I could watch them both back to back. But at the end of the first episode, I was like, oh my god, like what happens at the end of the first episode? I was like, how like everything I thought about this series, that first episode went, I go, oh, okay, this is not where this is going.
It must be said, like, you know, and I know there's some people who will come for my head over this. I feel like the latest It adaptation is one of those rare occasions, like keep in mind, as amazing as the original one with Tim Curry was, this would have been one of those times where it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, do not remake something that's such a treasure. I'm not going to say it's better, because I think you'll always have your preference one way or another, but I'm willing to say that it is on par to the extent that you could make an argument for either one being better and you'd have a point.
Well, so one of my biggest again, I get it, timing and settings and what's the word, effects and stuff you had at the time, I get with the 1990 series, is when I finally watched it all the way through, you know, I managed to get by this point, like I'm an adult and I don't care, like scary, I can do it. It was seeing the spider thing he was at the end, and I went, hang on, I mean, I get the clown is fucking petrifying, but this whole time his final form was what looks like a rubber spider. I was like, mate, you idiot. Like, I mean, again, but then probably this is the same kid that when he watched the original series of Power Rangers didn't notice that Tommy's shield was 2 different ones, completely different.
Oh, you know, there was a metal one that was some kind of plastic, and there was like a felt one that was worn a lot of the time as well.
Because the proper looking one is the original Japanese footage. The other one,
and the felt one is when they're remaking it for the American audience. And
because the original one got damaged in transport to America.
Yeah, and yeah, that's the other thing as well. I've because obviously they've recently remastered the first series or 2 worth of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Netflix. Like, they had couple of series worth on there anyway, but they've done Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reignition on Netflix, where it's upscaled the footage. Season 1, yeah. So I went back and watched it because, you know, obviously I'm among proper Power Rangers nerds on this team. And I loved Power Rangers when I was a kid, but I did the thing where, like, watched it as a kid, got to the point where I wasn't a fan anymore, stopped watching it, never went back. And I wanted to go back and, you know, watch through the series that I'd loved as a kid. Like, I was Mighty Morphin. I actually skipped Zeo. I don't know why, but I skipped Zeo. And then Turbo, In Space, Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue, and I think I had switched off by the time... no, I saw Wild Force, and I think that was the last one I watched. But knowing that this was on Netflix, I wanted to go back and watch Power Rangers again. And the one thing I never noticed, because obviously I knew, now as an adult, I knew the whole thing where it's Super Sentai, the Japanese show, which they took the footage from that. Anytime they're in the suits near enough, and the masks, it's Super Sentai footage. And then they shot for the scenes where they're out of their suits with the American cast that we know. And the longer the series went on for, the less Super Sentai footage they used and the more American shot-for-purpose footage they'd use. I think you actually have to go quite a way into Power Rangers life before you get to the point where it's all American and there's no Super Sentai footage. But that's
most
like
of
only...
most of it, like movies, no. Most of it has a Japanese counterpart, more or less.
To some degree, yeah. But you get to a point where they're actually filming more bespoke stuff with each series. Yeah. And you eventually get to a point where it's majority American, with only some of the Super Sentai Japanese footage. But the thing I never noticed, cannot believe I never noticed this, and I guess because I was watching it as a kid, Rita is dubbed. She's not speaking English.
It took me a long time.
It's a very good dub, but once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. I was like, how have I never clocked this before?
And again, as a kid, I remember season two. If you've only watched season 1, season 2. Rita is, obviously Lord Zed comes in. Rita at the beginning is, they get rid of her, like they put her back in the dumpster and all that, she's gone. And you watch any clip of her, it's so funny. It's old footage in that, but it's a side of her head or this and that. And then they bring her back, and the first thing they do when they're trying to get her to fall in love, like Lord Zed to fall in love with her, is they give her a makeover, and it's a completely different, younger actress. I never noticed. Till as a kid, I was like, I never noticed there was 2 Ritas. Never in my life realised there was 2 Ritas, and now you look at it and you go, oh my god, and the dubbing, like she's called Bandora. If you've watched all of season 1 of Power Rangers, I tell you, and you will not regret this, Tony's done it, go and watch Zyu Ranger, the Japanese counterpart, mate. Honestly, you watch the stories, it is, and then you'll go back. The Yellow Ranger is a guy in it, called Boy. Who's literally called Boy.
Hammer it home.
Yeah, some of the sequences, the Green Ranger story arc will break your heart. Like the Green Ranger story in America was full of anxiety because you were like scared that this, like the Power Rangers have got this one Ranger's turned up and he's about to. He's the same in that, but the way his story arc ends is completely different to the American one, and trust me, it will.
Yeah.
Woo.
That's something that, I'll vouch for this as well. Like, yeah, if you ever get the chance, seek out.
I'm asking you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, the thing is, and I'm going to do it, but I already know that it's worth doing, even having not watched it. So I'm going to double down on it myself. It's like, seek out the Japanese counterpart of Power Rangers.
Even just Zyu Ranger, because I mean that's the only one I've ever fully watched, and it is.
Yeah, the overall series is
dubbing and stuff.
Yeah, the overall series is Super Sentai, I believe, and but Zeo Ranger is that one there. Here's the other thing as well. The White Ranger, totally different series in Japan. He's not from Mighty Morphin.
He's from Die Ranger, which again the Thunderzords. Again, you can see it's harder to tell with the footage, but one of the funniest things, right? And as a kid, again, why I didn't see this as a kid, one of the funniest moments for me as an adult realization is when Tommy becomes that scene where he calms down, mate. As a kid, we were like, even though it's so obvious it was going to be him because he gets teleported at the beginning in a white light. Tommy comes down, that helmet comes off, that scene. Then you see him get on his Zord for the first time. Watch that scene, because the White Ranger in Die Ranger is a 10-year-old kid. You watch the White Ranger, who has just become the leader of the Power Rangers. He's like this, woohoo, woohoo, hey, happy. He's literally a child, and it is the funniest thing because you've got JDF dubbing over it, and he's like so happy to be the White Ranger, and it is it's so cringy, but it's great because it's like it's peripheral vision. What's it in Doctor Who? The
perception filter. Didn't clock that.
Again, there's an episode in Power Rangers where the Megazord fights a big giant troll. What's in the Japanese version, you'll understand why, but not as a child did I notice that there is 100-foot child stood behind the Megazord. you, again,
It's like,
when you
it's like when you watch one of those things that's supposed to test how much you pay attention to. Like so it says, watch the basketball be passed around the court and count how many times it gets passed between the players. And you're sitting there going, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Get to the end and you go, how many times has the basketball passed? 46. Nailed it. And they go, yeah, cool. Did you see the pink teddy bear though? You're like, what? And then they play the clip again, and sure enough, for about 30 seconds, there's a guy in a pink teddy bear costume, kind of like this, doing star jumps behind them that you never noticed.
Yeah. Mate, again, we can go on about Power Rangers, we can go on about Michael Jackson film, but trust me, Kurt, this bit of homework for you. Go watch some Zero Ranger. I might even give it a rewatch soon. And watch Welcome to Derry. My cat is at the window going, she's just like, let me in. I'm like, no, I'm recording. Go watch it. Was there anything else I wanted to bring up? Because right now it is about to hit midnight, and this is now officially possibly the latest record we're doing. And
This what happens when we have a guest that ends up pulling out at the last minute for totally legit reasons. But we started this record very late.
This is what happens when we plan to record on Monday, and we're probably not going to be able to do it because the guest has issues, and because I know I can't be around on the Tuesday because I'm going to see the Five By Boys with the Power to Rock You tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to see Five at the O2. I know I can't trust my team to get an episode together. So, I mean, again, Kurt, you are probably the most trustworthy, but you struggled last time. So I thought I'll do it.
Not my fault, admittedly. I got messed around by one of our guests last time. I was here till 5 a.m. waiting for something. Yeah, Preston. Yeah, Preston, our next show, mate.
Yeah. On that note, which, speaking of our next show, and that brings us to the end part where I see Danger Zone tickets are on sale. As of this moment, there is still the code Maverick
15.
Maverick 15. Use that code, you get 15% off on the tickets. Get them now, because trust me, we say about every show, it's getting bigger and better, and we are getting closer to that belt right there being put on somebody's shoulder or around their waist and being crowned the first TDW men's champion. There's talks about more gold coming TDW's way. There is talks about big names coming to join us. I mean, look, we've got Danger Zone coming in February, which will all lead to what I said this to Kurt earlier, and I'm going to put it down here. June is going to be our big show, because May was our first ever show and June is our summertime show. Our summer show will always, now in this moment, will be our big show, will be our WrestleMania, will be our SummerSlam, be our big show. We have booked already some names that on the scene that you're going to love. You're going to be so happy to see in the TDW ring. And so am I. We've got champions coming. We've got all of this. Kurt, Patreon. We've got an offer going on, haven't we?
Oh, yes, we do. So, Patreon at the moment. Now, I've got to remember, Ryan, is there a code for the Patreon, or is it just...
There will be, below this episode, whether it's Spotify, wherever you're listening, whether there will be a link. If you're struggling with the link on, say, Apple Podcasts, whatever, go to YouTube and just go on the video of this episode, and we will put down there a link where you get 1 month free on our Patreon.
Yeah. Join Patreon today. First month is absolutely free, which means you can watch anything we put up there so far in terms of the bonus content, where there will be more stuff coming there as well on that front. But also, perhaps most importantly, our first ever wrestling show, Never Say Die, is up there in full. You'll be able to watch that for free, both with and without commentary. And also, hopefully, by the time this episode goes out, if not very close to it, the full show edit of Back in Time, our second ever show, which has even more than Never Say Die. Not just more action, but also behind the scenes promos, full hype video packages. We're going to have multiple commentaries as well. We're going to have the official commentary track, and also some of the guys are doing their own alternative commentary track, God help you, Laferde is one of them.
Laferde potentially Moon, so that's going to be interesting because I don't know what Moon even knows about wrestling, so that's going to be a fun 2 hours to listen to. I may do one with Jacob. I was thinking about doing it just to see what Jacob thinks. That could take some time though. It could.
I know there's talk of potentially Max doing one as well. So there's going to be
some
multiple versions of Never Say I've Back in Time, the official version, and then plenty of alternative commentary tracks so you can hear everyone who's involved's weird and wonderful takes on the show. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And that first month for Patreon, absolutely free if you join. Of course, if you can then pay for the monthly subscription after the fact, it really helps us out. You know, we can put on even bigger and better stuff.
Remind them to press cancel as soon as they sign up. We don't want them to... No, just sign up. Don't worry, it won't automatically start taking the money over that. Listen, it's up to you. But what we're saying is check it out. Check out the 2 edits of the show, and this is why we're doing it. Why we're giving you a month's free, because we want you to stick around and see. You know, Kurt did alright with the editing on the first show. He's done much better on the second one.
What can I say? I'm learning.
He's learning on the fly. I'm not gonna lie. One thing I liked about it is it looks like a wrestling show. It looks like a full put together wrestling show. So I'm well happy. It looks professional, and we want you to see it, and we want you to go. TDW is a staple and a name in wrestling we want to stick around with, and yes, obviously we'd love you to stick around and start paying monthly. So if you do, just remember all you're doing is making our product better. So, and we thank you, and we will give as much back. We will put on better shows. We'll get bigger names. I mean, listen, we've already got a little reputation of bringing in some talents from the United States of America. We've probably got at least 2 of them American talents have already been on the show coming back, and that's all of them. So 2 of them are probably going to be coming back because they want to, and we might have future ones looking to come over, and trust me, it's going to be fun. And Kurt, you look like you were going to say something, so say it.
Oh no, I was just biting my tongue when it came to the American talents, because some conversations might have been had in the last week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go.
Yes, and like I said, we're booking February for a great show, but we're also already booking June to be our biggest show. And mate, if I have my way, it'll be a 2-day event. But I'm just putting it on here so Kurt goes, "Fuck, he said it on the podcast now." But we'll see. It'll probably be just be 1 day. It might be. Maybe we tell people, listen, it's going to be a 5-hour show, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And
yeah, let's not WrestleMania 31 this son bitch.
Yeah, true. Okay, so. Get onto Patreon. Don't forget as well, yes, we've said it 100 times at least, go to treefroggrading.com, use the code TWD15, get yourself 15% off on your cards being graded. If you're a card collector and you want to get them cards graded, why don't you use one of the biggest card grading companies in the entire UK? treefroggrading.com, link will be down below. And then back to JC. JC's got his clothing range, Graffiti Washed. We're giving you 30% off with the code TalksWithDorks30. So the link will be down there. Check out JC's Etsy shop and check out those t-shirts. I still need to order mine, but with all this wrestling show and that, I've bought so much merch recently, I keep forgetting to buy it. Kurt, socials are all the same. Talk Dork Wrestling for Talk Dork Wrestling, Talk Dork Podcast for Talk Dork Podcast, Gaming with Dorks for Gaming with Dorks. If you can't find one of them pages on one of the social media platforms, probably ain't got it, to be honest.
But we're on a lot of the usuals. We're on Insta, well, of course we're on YouTube, TikTok as well, Facebook as well, if memory serves me right. Yep.
Most of them. You'll just keep searching Talks with Dorks. You'll keep finding us.
You'll find us eventually.
You might find the other Talks with Dorks, and I've still got a problem with them for not giving us the @Talks with Dorks. But listen, lads, I'll try being nice. I've had enough. Kurt was on strike 2 tonight. Do you notice? Notice since strike 2, he learned his fucking lesson, didn't he? He learned the fucking lesson. It is now 12:10. We're going to wrap it up. I'm DJ Ryan S on the socials, or Dad Dog DJ on Instagram. That's Kurt. That Kurt Wilson. See you later.
See you later.
Talks with Dorks. May the power protect you.